Welcome back everyone. Today I'm very excited to share with you my recent acquisition, and it is this new deluxe offering from the Vintage Collection, Luke Skywalker and Grogu from the Book of Boba Fett. This is one of those deluxe packages that comes with a number of world building accessories that are specific to Luke and Grogu's training session. I am very happy to have this, and I gotta give a big thank you to Return of the Nerds for hooking me up with this earlier than I would see it in the States. It's a Target exclusive, and sometimes, Target's very late with their exclusives. I did recently get a shipping notification that my Kenner-inspired Boba Fetts are finally coming, and I have been seeing things in store, but it's always nice to get something early and put this in a diorama. So once again, thank you to Return of the Nerds for hooking me up with this. So with that being said, let's take a closer look at the packaging. Taking a look at the packaging, we have our standard Vintage Collection deluxe style box that we're becoming more and more familiar with in the Vintage Collection. We have the Book of Boba Fett logo looking very nice and prominent in that bright red color. We have a Star Wars racetrack, as well as Luke and Grogu just below that. We also have this nice toy photography image of the characters with some of the accessories framed very nicely by that racetrack. And of course we have the sunburst with a nice image of Grogu, Luke, and the backpack, and the Kenner logo down below as well. Taking a look at the sides, we have another image of Grogu and the accessories. Those are the frogs, Book of Boba Fett logo. And then on the other side, we have another image of Grogu with some of the accessories from a different scene. We have the shirt made of Beskar and Yoda's lightsaber. Book of Boba Fett logo as well. And then on the back, we have another different image of toy photography setting with Luke and Grogu walking through the bamboo forest, and an image of all the accessories that are included in this set, which I gotta say, it's actually a pretty decent amount of stuff. So all in all, another great addition to the Vintage Collection deluxe style offering. And of course, if you're new to collecting, this is what the contents look like inside. We have plastic-free packaging, Luke Skywalker just on some cardboard, as well as some tissue paper that have all of the accessories that come with this set. Taking a look at Luke out of the packaging, I've got to say that this figure is surprisingly exceptional. I wasn't really, jumping out of my seat waiting for this figure, but now that I have it in hand, it's quite a joy to move around. He's got the new style barbell hips, he's got new lower legs with these boots that are kind of like the soft wrapped versions, that we see him during the training session, kind of like ninja-like, which, all in all, he looks very, ninja-like in this training attire. But yeah, I've got to say, I really like this figure a lot. Everything looks to be newly tooled, which is very cool to see. He's got the soft goods on the lower part, which I think actually look pretty good once in hand. I know it was a little odd to see it in the first promo pictures where, this could have maybe been a soft plastic, but I'm kind of here for it. And it will allow him to sit cross-legged much easier, so that's definitely cool. Taking a look at his face sculpt, it's the one we've kind of been seeing more with our Mandalorian, Mandoverse Lukes. All in all, looks pretty good. Hair color is a little darker, and just the paint apps look fantastic. Some nice detailing here on his tunic as well. You can see a little bit of sculpting here on the belt, on the back as well. And yeah, all in all, I think this is a good looking figure in my opinion. And here we have Grogu, who's not much different than many of the different Grogus that we've added to our collection over time. I will say I can't tell if it's intentional or not, but it seems like he's got a little bit more movement to his head. I don't know if they improved the ball joint there so that he could kind of look up at Luke during his decision and kind of look down at the accessories as well, but maybe that's been upgraded with this particular Grogu. Other than that, I can't see much difference here. It looks like he has the same arms that we've seen on many releases. He has the foot peg, which we've seen a little bit later now. But all in all, I think, yeah, maybe the head articulation was, upgraded a little bit. But yeah, another Grogu to add to the collection. Taking a look at the accessories, here we have Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, which is pretty standard for all the lightsabers we've been seeing recently with Luke. It's got some nice paint deco on it, but nothing that we have not seen before. And then we have Master Yoda's lightsaber, which is actually a brand new sculpt. So pretty cool. It's different than the TVC 1.0 version. It's got a smaller hilt and just a single ignited, lightsaber blade. Doesn't have any of that flare out effect on the bottom. Pretty decent. It's got just basic silver and black paint deco on it, but all in all, I think it looks really nice. And if you take a look at it compared to the previous one from TVC 1.0, I think it is definitely an upgrade. This is way too big. You can just see that it looks a little odd, but very cool. And yeah, it's a great upgrade in my opinion. And then of course we have to have our unlit hilts. So here we have Luke's, which is standard to what we've been seeing with our Luke Skywalker figures. It's got some nice paint deco on it. The black, gold, and silver paint deco just looks, overall perfect. And then we have Master Yoda's hilt, which will be essential to recreating that scene when Grogu has to make his decision. Once again, just basic paint deco here, silver and black. And all in all, I think it looks pretty nice, and we definitely need this. It would have been cool to get that little box that all of these things were included in that Luke shows Grogu. That would have been a very nice accessory to get. So now I got to figure out how to make a little box to kind of put these in. But all in all, nice addition. And then we have the little scarf bandana that the armor wraps up Grogu's shirt in. This is such a small accessory, as you can see. It's very, very tiny, but very impressive that Hasbro's able to do paint applications on this. And they're very clean, and it looks exactly like what we saw in the show. I always loved how, this got wrapped up for Grogu, and it basically just looks like a little Grogu with ears. So very cool. Backside doesn't have any paint deco on it. I think that's pretty accurate to kind of what we saw, but yeah, another great little accessory that helps us world build the Mandalorian and Boba Fett scenes. And then we have the Beskar shirt, which is another small accessory. Just a very thin piece of pliable plastic. Looks pretty good. It's got some nice detailing on there to, represent the chain links. I think it could have maybe been a little bit more of a metallic color. In certain lighting, it kind of looks very shiny, and then when initially I took it out of the box, I was like, this kind of just looks like gray, but the more and more I kind of fiddle around with it, the more it does look kind of metallic to me, but maybe something they could have done to make this a little bit more, I don't know, just Beskar looking, but another cool accessory to get. And then we have the frogs. Here we have a tiny, tiny little frog accessory that's actually the same one that came with Grogu and his pram previously in the vintage collection, just a different color. I really like this jade colored one. I thought it was pretty cool, but this one's a little bit more accurate to what we saw in the Book of Boba Fett. So you get a total of 4 of this little frog, and all in all, it's a great accessory. Who doesn't like more frogs? You can put this somewhere else if you don't want to display it with Luke and Grogu. It's a nice little world building accessory, in my opinion. It's definitely a bit of a softer plastic, I think, than the previous one, but all in all, a nice one to get. And then we have our floating frogs. Definitely a very cool, fun accessory. The display stand looks pretty neat. It's clear plastic. I think this is maybe supposed to be representative of water because it's kind of like a weird thick splash that's coming out, which is kind of cool. Luke floated these out of the water, so kind of appropriate. I can't tell if I would have liked this more or just a very thin plastic bar that connects to this, but regardless, pretty cool. I like that these are removable. They kind of just snap onto this little peg, which is nice. Here, you can see it go back on. And then you can kind of rotate them around to whatever, justification that you kind of want to see these in. So all in all, very nice. They're very similar to the other frog, just a little black eye and molded green soft plastic. So another great accessory. So we definitely got a lot of frogs. And then the next accessory we have to talk about is the backpack, which was a surprise to me because I kind of thought we were getting the same backpack from training Luke from Dagobah, and that was always not a good backpack because it was way too big. But man, they've done a fantastic job with this new one. It's much more, proportionate to Luke and very, very cool upgrade in my opinion. It still has the very big belt buckle, but I gotta say that I'm very happy with the sizing to where the belt buckle doesn't bother me as much anymore. So very, very cool to see. And if you take a look, Grogu will fit in there and just not, disappear into a massive bag. So that's some really awesome work right there. And I really appreciate everything the team has been doing recently to get us better soft goods in the vintage collection. So all in all, I'm very impressed with this backpack. I think it looks fantastic. Accessories are always a huge plus when it comes to elevating our shelf displays, and this latest vintage collection set offers plenty of world building options. Luke and Grogu come with a number of accessories that will allow fans to recreate a number of memorable scenes from the training episode during the Book of Boba Fett. Not only does this set deliver by including a hefty amount of world building possibilities, but the newly tooled Luke Skywalker in his Jedi training tunic is a very welcome addition to the vintage collection. Sporting ball jointed everything, new style barbell hips, swivels at the thigh, and rocker ankles, Luke will have absolutely no problems performing as the powerful Jedi we have seen in both Legends and recent media. I have got to say that posing this figure was a breeze, and once again, Hasbro keeps delivering spectacular works of art when it comes to these newly tooled figures. I think it's safe to say that fans are always in favor of premium articulation and sculpting, especially when it comes to main characters like Luke Skywalker. Additionally, I can't express how delightful it is to finally have a properly sized backpack accessory. But with that being said, let's put this set to the test and recreate a scene from the Book of Boba Fett.